Hey guys! Welcome to this week's review of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, episode 5. So, this will be a real quick review because I kind of just did a marathon review of episodes 1 to 4. So, I don't really have much to say about episode 5 because I feel like, it's a continuation, of course, of all that's been going on. But let's just get right into it, okay? Let's start off with Louie and Teresa. I mean, Louie, I tried. I really, really tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, a little bit of grace. Maybe you're not that bad, but then you show up and you open your mouth and, First of all, why lie? I know I said before he should just address the video. He should just address the 1,000,001 people coming out saying he's an asshole. Because you are dating someone that's a public figure. So if you don't talk about it, everybody's going to talk about it and the gossip is just going to grow and grow and grow. Right? But why lie? Why lie when there is video evidence? That's the stupidest thing. And Teresa was kind of annoying, right? Because okay, sorry, let me set things up. So they're all over Jennifer's place, right? And Teresa actually was supposed to be the one hosting a party, but she storms off because she's upset that Louis is upset because of course the rest of the cast is talking crap about him. So she storms off, and I guess she goes to get Louis, and she shows up to the party later, right? And I guess now is his time to address everything in front of the group. But instead of being honest, instead of saying, I made some mistakes in my past, and I went to this retreat, and I wanted, we had some healing moments, so I wanted to apologize to my ex-girlfriend for hurting her. Just be honest. You don't have to go into details. You can be very vague. Listen, nobody's perfect. We've all made mistakes. So if you just say, I have made mistakes in my past, I've may or may have not been an asshole, I think we all could have moved on. Whoever wasn't going to like you is not going to like you. Whoever's going to like you moving forward is going to like you. Obviously, Teresa likes you. And listen, if he really, really has changed and he has become a better person, then I'm here for it. Teresa seems to like him. Teresa also has a past. She went to jail and la-di-da. And Teresa has changed as well. So, kudos for them. I was rooting for them. But then he lies. Why? Why lie when there's video evidence? He made it. What did he say? He was like, oh, my ex-girlfriend, she wanted to get back with me, so I made a video. His explanation didn't even make any sense. You can tell his explanation was just there to kind of inflate his ego and make himself feel good because he felt, I guess, embarrassed. But I think if you've truly healed and made a change in your life, I guess you're always going to have shame, but you wouldn't have that level of shame. You would own it. You wouldn't be making up lies to try to make yourself look good, to try to make it seem like the girl wants you when there is video evidence. Why lie? And I agree with Teresa. Even though Teresa was being hella annoying, I think Teresa was definitely on to something when she kept trying to shut him up. It's like, be quiet. You don't have to explain anything to Margaret. You don't have to tell Margaret shit. Stop. And before Louis opened his mouth, I was like, Teresa, can you just shut up? Can you let him just address the group and explain what he has to explain? Yes, Margaret is a gossip and she's annoying, but listen, Margaret keeps it real and she is thinking what the rest of the audience is thinking, so it's best he just comes out with it. So I was like, Teresa, shut up, let him speak. But then after he spoke, I'm like, okay, I get it now, Teresa. I get why you wanted him not to say anything because it just made him look completely worse. And Teresa was right. I guess it's none of our business. It's none of our business. If you're gonna lie to us, you might as well have kept your mouth shut. And I can't really remember what he said to her, but he was like, "Oh, if I don't do X, Y, or Z, how is she gonna learn?" He was kind of talking to her like she was a dog. I didn't like the way he was talking to her. And yes, was Teresa in that moment being obnoxious? Like, to be fair, if you're trying to speak and someone is saying, "Shut up, don't say anything." Okay, I don't think Teresa said shut up directly, but she was like, "Don't explain to her, don't explain to her." But I think that energy and the hostility was more directed to Margaret than it was directed to Louis. Even though I get, yeah, that would be annoying if someone keeps trying to shut you up. But the way that he responded to her, I didn't feel too much. He was talking to her like a dog, and then giving his reputation of being emotionally abusive. I mean, I'm sorry, it's aligning. Everything is aligning up. And then the fact that you just finished telling a bold-faced lie to everybody, it's just, his character is lining up and it doesn't look good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope he's not another Joe. And when I say Joe, I mean Teresa's ex-husband, because that's what it seems like. she's I don't know, it seems like she likes guys that talk crap to her. I don't know, and she's moving in with him and her daughters, and it's like, oh my gosh, Teresa, please. I never really used to like Teresa, but like I said, with the Ultimate Girls Trip, I definitely have become more of a fan. And like, I'm like, okay, she's smarter than she comes off, but it seems like when it comes to men, like us all, let's just be real, we don't make smart choices. And I'm like, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. And you can tell Joe, Teresa's brother, is not feeling Louis. I mean, he was feeling Louis at the beginning, but maybe not so much now. But then he realized, that's my sister. What am I going to do? Because if I open my mouth to say something about this guy, that he's not that great, then me and her are going to have problems. You know what I mean? And it just seems like everybody in the group is not really feeling Louis. And, I mean, I'm not from New Jersey. I don't think it's a small town by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, if you're around certain people, people talk. And if everybody is having this impression of like, yeah, no. And I could see why Teresa's like, shut up, don't talk. She's trying to like keep everything behind closed doors. But like I said, they're on a reality television, so anything is gonna come out. A bit of advice for Louis: do not lie. Do not lie. You don't think you can lie how you did with the men's retreat, thinking you can lie when you get on the show, and when we get to the reunion, Andy will get you together. So let's just be honest and vague. Honesty and being vague is where it's at. Okay, no elaborate stories, nothing to boost your ego. Let's just keep it real because you're not looking too good. Okay. Let's move on from that. So at the same party, Jennifer, I don't know about Jennifer. I get that Jennifer is upset with Margaret and what she did, and I think what Margaret did was foul. But I don't know. I just think it's like a wash because they all talk crap. Jennifer talks a lot of crap herself, so I thought she would let it go, but for some reason she wants to bring up what Margaret did all over again, even though I thought they were moving forward, but let's just be real. I knew it was going to come up again. So Jennifer and Margaret have their back and forth, and Margaret wants to say, you're being a hypocrite because your husband cheated and I cheated. And it's like, Margaret, it's not the same. It's not the same. Her husband cheated on her. You cheated on your husband. It's not the same. Yes, there's cheaters involved, but the roles the roles that you guys are playing are not the same. And I'm not saying that Jennifer should shame you for the things that you've done, because listen, we've all made mistakes. Like if I was to take a camera and film the darkest moments and the most shameful moments of your life, you would probably have a hard time with it. It wouldn't be easy. I get that. So we shouldn't be hard on people. And yes, Jennifer was an asshole. But I don't think she's a hypocrite. I don't think she is. Like, I don't know why Margaret can't understand that maybe the reason why Jennifer is so upset or had such an issue with Margaret and her affair is because Jennifer was cheated on. Like, like, can't you have some sort of empathy for the other person even if you don't like her? I don't know why Margaret is acting like such a victim. I mean, you got your revenge. Let's move on. At this point. Yeah, and then I don't know, Jennifer gets into it with Melissa. Right? And I don't know, like, yes, I watched last season. I don't know where it really began with when it comes to Jennifer and Melissa and this whole beef. Low key, I can be wrong, but I feel like Jennifer picks on Melissa because she wants to appease Teresa a little bit. Not that Teresa directly tells her to go bully Melissa, but I think, Jennifer knows, because I'm guessing Jennifer watched the show before she became a cast member. She knows that Teresa and Melissa, they have a bit of tension. They're in a lot better place now, but Teresa can't come directly for Melissa like she used to in the past, for the sake of their family, right? But I can tell, I don't know if Teresa and Melissa get along. I think they get along. I don't know if they fully like each other. So I think Jennifer picks up on that. And because she wants to be in good graces with Teresa, she kind of picks at Melissa a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know. I that's my only explanation. It's also Jennifer's personality. I guess that's her sense of humor to kind of rib on people, and yeah, except Melissa doesn't really receive her jokes well. And I don't think they're too much jokes, if I'm going to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Jennifer just never really got along with Melissa. Has Melissa said things here and there about Jennifer? Yeah, but I feel like it's more so always in response to Jennifer, more so than Melissa starting shit with her. You know what I mean? Like, comment down below. Can someone explain to me where this tension is coming between them? Like, I really don't get it. So they have this argument. And I guess the argument is because after the reunion, Melissa had said things about Jennifer on social media, and I guess Jennifer responded back with calling her husband a crook. And then, of course, Joe, he opens his mouth and he gets involved, and Jennifer calls him a little bitch girl. That's what I heard. Little bitch girl. I don't know. And of course, don't come after Melissa's husband. She loses it. They have this back and forth. She, I guess, charges towards her. They almost get into a fight. It was weird. They sort of locked hands and they spun around 3 times. I'm like, okay. Wasn't really an altercation, but sure. And then things just kind of descend into chaos. And and then Jennifer decides to kind of, this is the great time for Jennifer to call out Jackie, because Jackie made that comment about her husband, like, well, your husband was sticking his thing, and what did she say? Oh, well, I don't care. It's her husband's fault for sticking his you know what into you know where, and da 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 da. Now, when Jackie explained that, at first, okay, I'll be honest, when I first saw the episode and I heard Jackie saying that, it did sound hella shady towards Jennifer. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, well, I don't feel bad for her. Her husband is the one that should feel bad. He's the one that cheated. That was kind of the energy that I was getting from her. But then now she's trying to explain it as like, oh no, I wasn't saying that to diss Jennifer. I was saying, oh, well, that's not Jennifer's fault because it was her husband that did X, Y, and Z. Um, I think that's a nice way to explain it. I guess that statement you can take it any kind of way. It you could take it that way, but to be honest with you, when I heard it, okay, when I saw that episode, okay, it sounded more so you were dissing Jennifer, to be honest. You were being flippant about the situation, like, well, I don't care about her feelings or what she has going on, whatever. I don't feel sorry for her. Her husband was the one that, did X, Y, and Z. It wasn't me, so whatever. That was kind of the attitude. It didn't sound like it was coming from an empathetic place towards Jennifer at all. So I definitely think Jackie is trying to like twist it around to make herself look not as bad. But you said it. But then, like I said before, I think Jennifer should give Jackie a pass because you did go around Jennifer fishing for information and photographs about her husband Evan cheating on her. So it's like, can we just call it a wash? I mean, yes, you guys said you were going to move forward, but it was kind of fresh. It was literally like 3 minutes before. Not even 3 minutes, like 2 minutes before. So can we give Jackie a bit of grace, Jennifer? Like, and Jackie didn't lie. Your husband did do what he did. So, like, but you could tell Dolores was very pleased with herself because, she never really liked Jackie to begin with. And you could tell she was really pissed with Jackie calling her out, saying, "You're not a good friend." And it's like, excuse me, I'm not a good friend? How about you? But I think the difference is that Jennifer and Jackie were not friends. Okay? They were working towards friendship, working towards being in a better place. You and Jennifer were friends at the time. And the way you were moving Dolores didn't really seem like you were much of a friend to her. You're kind of, but Dolores is like kind of is like Cynthia in that way. She plays Switzerland, but you could tell she wasn't here for Jennifer because if Jennifer was such a friend, once you see your friend breaking down and crying, you wouldn't be like, "Why are you crying? Why are you doing this for?" You wouldn't talk to her like that. So clearly like just keep it real, Dolores, and stop using Jackie as a scapegoat, okay? So all of them ends up leaving except Jennifer, Teresa, and Dolores. Dolores made a point to be like, and I'm gonna stay here with Jennifer because I'm her friend and you're not, Jackie. I was like, Dolores, really? The only reason you're staying, to be honest, is because Teresa's there. That's how I feel. It has nothing to do with Jennifer. So quickly, kind of going back to Melissa and Jennifer calling her husband a crook, I just want to address that. Uh, Considering his brother-in-law went to jail, and so did his sister for being a crook, yeah. Yeah, I could totally understand why Melissa doesn't like her and she's upset. I get it. I get it. I can't defend, even though I do like Jennifer. I do think she's funny, but she's not a good guy. She's not the villain, but uh, uh. So we're gonna move on to the next day. Melissa has her pink party, and of course she's not inviting Jennifer because they just had this big blowout. And of course, we're gonna get the storyline again of loyalty. Teresa's not being loyal, Melissa's not being loyal, Joe is not being loyal. Basically, Melissa and Joe are upset because they felt like, how could you stay at Jennifer's place after she called your brother a little bitch boy or a little bitch girl? One of the two. How can you stay over there? How can you be friends with her? And of course, Teresa kind of has the point. Well, you're friends with Margaret. How can you be friends with Margaret? Last season it was like, how can you be friends with Jackie? It's like the same thing over and over again. It's like, guys, Can we break the fourth wall? You're filming a show. At the end of the day, these are not just your quote unquote friends, these are your cast members, and you have to film with these people. It is what it is. Like, you can't expect them to take on every fight, every like battle, or else like it would be a mess. But yeah, I guess if you're I guess if someone calls your brother a little bitch girl, you gotta stand up for them. I'm not gonna lie. Teresa should have been like, "Yo, chill, Jennifer. That's not cool. You shouldn't have said that about my brother." Ba. But you could tell Teresa was still heated about Louie, right? Because Joe made an offensive joke about Louie. Louie got upset. The rest of the group, Margaret, they're talking about Louis. So I don't think Teresa was in a good place with the group anyways because of her boyfriend. So I don't think she really cared about Joe being called a little bitch boy. But I get it. I get it. I'm not saying she shouldn't be friends with Jennifer, but in that moment, you should have said, hold up, that's too much. That's not okay. That's inappropriate. Because if it was the other way around, Teresa would have flipped out. And she would have expected Melissa and Joe to be by her side. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen next episode, but overall, I think they can all work it out. But this is only season 5, and we have how many more episodes to go? Like I said, Jennifer has talked crap, so I feel like this is her karma. One other thing, actually. Jennifer was mad at Bill, her husband, because she felt like during, the scuffle with Melissa, Bill didn't Bill didn't jump in. Bill didn't defend Jennifer. Bill didn't help to break up the fight or anything. Bill kind of like sulked off somewhere, never to be seen again. um I get what Bill was saying. He was like, well, if I got involved, it would have made the situation 10 times worse. And I get that. I get that it's one of the rules for the husbands not to get involved with the women's fight. I mean, Joe doesn't follow that, but still. Oh, yes. Speaking of Joe, let me give Joe his props because Jennifer called him a little bitch girl and he didn't get up, he didn't yell, he didn't anything. He sat there and he took it. So, he's learning. You know, kudos to Joe. He let Melissa handle it because that could have went left. It really could. I do think I get where Bill is coming from of not wanting to get involved, but you could have stepped in to kind of be like, okay, Jennifer, let's go inside, let's take a breather. He could have been there to separate her or talk directly to her. Or because this is their home, right? So, he is the host. He could have kind of said to everybody, you know what? Yes, I cheated 10 years ago. It's in the past. I feel really bad about it, and I would appreciate you guys not bringing it up. Da 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 da. It was really hurtful to my wife. If you have anything to say about the cheating allegation, come to me, not to my wife, because my wife wasn't the one that cheated. Like he could have made some sort of speech, some sort of something, But his way of handling the situation was just to kind of sulk in the corner and disappear, and then kind of leave Jennifer with all that. I mean, to be fair, Jennifer kind of brings it on to herself, to be honest, because she's the one that started talking about it with Margaret. It wasn't really brought to her in that moment, at least. But still, it would have been nice for him to say something. He kind of left her hanging. Um, I do think that Bill feels a lot of shame for what he has done. It's pretty clear he doesn't want that out there publicly, but it is. And I don't know, same thing, same advice I would give Louie, I'm gonna give Bill. Like, just address it and be open, like, open with it, because you're gonna get asked about it at some point, and you running and hiding, you're just making it look worse, because what did all the other ladies say when they left Jennifer's house? Oh, it seems like Bill's not really into Jennifer. You know, he couldn't wait to get away. It seems like he can't stand her. And it's funny because Jennifer was like, oh my gosh, the other ladies are going to think you can't stand me. And that's literally what they think. Right? So it's like when you act like that, you're making it so much worse. So it's just better to be honest and vague. Honest and vague. Don't go into details. We don't need to know her name. We don't need to know what perfume she wore or how old she is or whatever. We don't know. We don't need to know the details. All we need to know is you effed up. You're so sorry. It was 10 years ago. You've learned your lesson. You love Jennifer. The end. That's all we need to get. Like, just get it over with. Because trust me, none of the people sitting in that room is perfect, but you running away just makes everything just look. It makes it look like they have marital problems now, and it's like, it's kind of so out of nowhere because in previous seasons, they seemed pretty happy together. So I truly hope that's not a facade, and I hope it's genuine. I really do, but the way he's acting, I don't know. But, from the trailer, there may be trouble in paradise, so we're gonna see how that unfolds. Anyways, that's the end. See ya, guys.